Hello everybody. Guess what this is? Artillery. So here's the visual. Still a bit work in progressy, but as you can see, it does the job. The current idea is that, there's the B-52, another thing. I should probably get out of the way. B-52 will fly over an area, and then, in that case I was around over there, so it starts a bombing run and just blows up everything in that entire area. I plan on making so that they can have flights of them so that they'll coordinate their paths, so like if I was in this valley, a flight of 5 B-52s could literally just carpet bomb side by side almost the entire valley area. The idea of them is kind of, they're like the extra powerful artillery, but they have a bit of a delay. By the way, artillery does it on its, it calls an artillery with, there's the JLTV model, it's not yet ready, so stopgap. Either way, artillery's idea is it will, on a short delay after you're in a location, call down some strikes. Currently I've got an awful lot of shells raining on each barrage, but So, artillery is dangerous. Artillery only hurts you though when you're near the ground. But, as you can tell by my health, these things are extremely dangerous when you are, in fact, near the ground, if you can get hit. They force you to move or to gain altitude, which will mean that you're going to be vulnerable to the air units, since, I mean, the anti-air missiles and stuff, since there's going to be long-range missiles by the SAM, and also, beyond just the SAM, there's other things like I plan on adding there's the B-52 that obviously carries the bombs, but also large, effectively, bomber types that are just missile magazines. They carry just a whole bunch of long-range air-to-air missiles, so those types will be able to be extremely dangerous planes that just circle around the map, and if you're too high, above a certain altitude, then they can log on to you and start just laying into you with a bunch of really powerful missiles. So there's going to be reasons that you're going to often want to stay close to the ground. So the idea is it's going to be a case of making a choice. If you're close to the ground, you have to stay mobile, which makes it somewhat hard to engage certain other types of enemies from artillery. If there's the bombers, then you're most likely going to have to time it right where you go away from the ground, and then wait for the bombing to pass and then go back down. And other way, so some interesting different enemies. Also, lightning does some chain effects now. So this was added so that I could deal with some missiles. Missiles because the, as you may recall from last week, the AAFS missile modules, since they fire, was that 4 times 4, so 16 missiles, I think it was, each time they pop up. So I added this, that with about 3 shots to 4 shots, you can intercept a full missile barrage right now. Boom. Also, it's worth saying, bombers do not currently care about or notice friendlies. On the other hand, though, that is such a traffic jam. It's like siege tanks in StarCraft 1. Oh well, the bombers do not notice friendlies, but the artillery strikes very much do notice friendlies. Yeah, right, that's enough. Flying around all. So yeah, you'll notice that there's a constant, it's checking constantly. But there are friendlies inside of the blast area, so it's not going to be calling in the strike. And it'll be waiting until I get away. And then... Also, if you look, you'll notice artillery rounds falling out of the sky there. So, yeah. So, yep, that's more or less this. And I'll be doing some quick little edits between videos so I can show some other stuff. So, one moment. Okay, and here we have another one with, and you'll notice the bomber does turn to follow. Here we are. AFS, and I'm already dead, of course, because I just flew over like an idiot, but artillery raining in, so where are some missiles? There we go. Zappy. And there's the bombing run. That probably took out at least one AAFS module. Again, it does not care about the friendlies. I'm thinking I'm going to make a start earlier and end a little bit quicker, but no, I'll probably just make it start earlier because I like the idea of the bombing run just covering a massive area. Though I do feel like I might want to have some air bursting bombs, so that a couple, like 1 in every 3 bombs will air burst at a random altitude, so that it is dangerous for somewhat higher areas, and also makes it have like a valid excuse. If you've ever seen air bursting 2,000 or 1,000 pound bombs, they are quite impressive. Just like go YouTube, JDAM 2,000 pound or 1,000 pound bombs. There's one that has 3 2,000 pound bombs going off on a tree line that was particularly entertaining. Just building, tree line, everything gone. Okay, and I've got one more little video after this to show, so 1 minute. Okay, so this is an example of somewhat more like I want the terrain to be. Large. I don't like the idea of it as being a really tiny little map. I like the idea of it being a little bit more dangerous, shall we say. And here's the mobile fortress with its turrets firing, secondary turrets firing air bursting rounds. If you get too close to them, they will explode. So, makes it a bit more dangerous than your average tank round. In fact, quite dangerous at this range. Mobile fortress is something that you are definitely going to want to try and approach from down low, with cover, and with unpredictable movements, and most likely with portal, because, you know, it's hard for it to handle you that way. Right now I'm just using some oversized turrets from the main battle tank. Also, the main cannon can currently sort of aim and attack. It is not exactly, how should I put it? It's very rough because I don't have, you know, an actual explosion proper that could be that large, so it's just a giant upscaled, slowed down thing. But also, yeah, the individual turrets are properly individually blow-upable and all that. So, the actual boss itself, while these are all attached to it, cannot actually be damaged. It's, once again, with this boss, it's all going to be about being able to take out the individual turrets and set fires in areas and hit weak spots on this one. The main thing itself is just going to be too heavily armored. You can't, your attacks just plank off even your best attack. It does not currently move in this build. Either way, so, yeah, the idea of the map. Downside is right now this map is, while being nice and big, without any LOD setups, changes in level of detail, in other words, so that as you get farther away on the map, the quality can degrade, textures can get easier. Even without any trees or anything else, this map is already kind of costly, so I'm going to have to look into making a bunch of individual smaller maps that are properly connected next to each other, and either way, it's an area that I don't really have much experience at, so I'll see how it goes, but yeah. It will be interesting, as pretty much all of this is. It's, you know, pretty much everything I'm doing is just a big ol' experiment. In the end, I am fairly happy with how the initial parts of that ability came out. Definitely still want to refine it a little bit more, though. Oh well, so that's more or less that. So, hope you find some of this stuff interesting. Hope you're having a good week, day, or whatever. Hello, turret. And they respond in kind. Right now, in the end, since these things are going to have flaming wrecks, I'm going to be just replacing their static mesh. So right now the static mesh doesn't outright disappear, but it no longer can take damage or anything like that. It'll just sit pointed where it last was. And then they'll end up communicating to the main blueprint that they've been destroyed, fire, yada yada. So you get the idea. Well, later.